103.6 FM, this is Tameside Radio, and this week is all about Mental Health Awareness Week 2024, and I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by Jason Bromley from Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind.
Thank you so much, and a pleasure as always.
Great to see you, absolutely. So, Mental Health Awareness Week, what's it all about?
Mental Health Awareness Week is one of those things that it puts mental health and well-being on people's radar.
Yeah.
First and foremost, it puts it on people's radar, it plants the seed in people's minds, and very often as well, it's got a theme, which people like to kind of jump on a lot of the time.
I've noticed the logo is all about move more this time. What's move more? What does it mean?
Well, movement is something that successive governments for many years have tried to get us to do, is to just get away from our sedentary lifestyles. So over the years we've had Couch to 5K, we've seen the amazing success across the country with Park Run initiatives. It's really about helping people to get active and to recognise the benefit that being active has on your mental health and well-being as well. It's not just physical, it's mental.
We're not talking about things like doing marathons and things like that, are we? We're just talking about basic things, starting basic, and little things like walking can mean a lot.
Absolutely, yeah. Walking is one of the best, to be honest with you, because often's the case, it's free. First and foremost, it's free. We can do it easily, or most people can. I want to try and be as inclusive as possible because there are some people who maybe can't or would struggle. But yeah, getting physically active, often for most people, it starts with walking. It's accessible for a lot of people. It's realistic and achievable. And I think that's really important when you're setting small goals.
Last week, I took a week off and walked in parts of Wales. I thought, let's do something a little bit different. You feel out your comfort zone at first because I said to myself, right, phone off, no texts, no emails, no social media, and that in itself was weird. It felt weird. It didn't feel right. After the first day, loads of walking up the hills, on the beaches and places like that. You do feel so much different.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's our adaptability as human beings can be a blessing and a curse. So we might very quickly adapt to quite a sedentary lifestyle. I've spoke to a lot of people who post-pandemic, their physical activity routines and regimen kind of has changed. I'll be honest with you, Mark, myself included. I'm an open book. I ain't going to sit here and lie to you. I'm nowhere near as physically active as I was pre-pandemic, and I need to get that in check. But yeah, our adaptability is a blessing and a curse because equally, just like you said, a couple of days in Wales, you'd adapted.
And that's the thing. It's like a comfort zone thing, isn't it? We're all so routine in life. I always find that we do the same things in the same order, same way, day in, day out. But in the winter months, we don't seem to bother going out as much. Yeah. But the weather's getting nicer now, and it does make a difference when you're walking. On the beach or whatever, on your own. It's like, wow, this is something different.
Yeah. It does. And I think the other thing is, I suppose a lot of people sometimes, they might look out in their local community and on the face of it, they might think, well, I don't really fancy going for a walk. But if you just look a little bit further afield, one thing we are blessed with in this area is green space.
Yep.
We're blessed with it. We're blessed with trees and grass and streams and rivers and canals. And they might not always be the prettiest, but if you can just get away from your doorstep for 10, 15 minutes, most people will benefit and will notice the difference.
And like you say, it's something that you can do for free as well. But I think it's for some people, it might be difficult to go out. It might be difficult to go out that door and do that. But it's giving it a go, isn't it?
It's giving it a go. And it's all also about being realistic with what you can do. Because what we find a lot of the time, particularly within the world of mental health, is that as human beings, sometimes what can be quite damaging to us is setting goals and then not achieving them. So being realistic about what you can achieve around your well-being and thinking, well, I can manage a 10-minute walk today. I'm not going to go out for an hour. I ain't got an hour. 10 minutes is more than enough. 10, 15 minutes. Perfect.
When I go for walks, it's more like half an hour because I find I walk slow. But it's good because you can gather your thoughts. And I tend to, when I'm going out walking, just cut off, you know?
Yeah.
Just, like you say, don't take your phone.
Yeah.
And because these kind of things are distractions all the time. And I think what you find more and more people now when you go around looking at people, because I people watch, I love people watching. And it's one of those things that people just always on the phone or on the tablet and constant distractions. I'm not surprised people are suffering.
Yeah, it's again, it comes back to us as people, as human beings, is that we get caught up in all of this hustle and bustle of life, and sometimes I'm putting us all in the same kind of bucket here, really. But I think many of us do. We welcome the distraction of it sometimes, and I think that's. We understand that. I understand that. I look for distractions myself sometimes. So sometimes it's a little bit sometimes like we need distractions in life, but are those distractions helpful or unhelpful? Are they damaging or are they freeing?
So if you're having a bad day, then let's turn the tables on you. If you're having a bad day, for whatever reason, whatever's gone wrong, how do you release all that kind of stress in the mind?
I'll be brutally honest with you. One thing that I genuinely, and it ties in with what we've just been talking about, one thing that I genuinely try and avoid, and I've been more mindful of it over the last 12 months, is I don't really use social media as escapism anymore. And even though I've kind of customized my feed on my socials so I don't see the stuff that I don't want to see, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's still not always a positive place. So for me, what works for me in terms of developing my wellbeing toolkit is I'm similar to you, Mark. I love the outdoors, even if it's just a 10-minute walk around a park or a 10-minute walk down Portland Basin and do a little circuit on my lunch break, and playing guitar as well. So I'll get home from work and I'll have half an hour, I'll have a brew and a biscuit, and then I might go upstairs and put the headphones on.
Brilliant.
And crank the guitar up for half an hour and just play some good rock music.
That's your escape room, is it?
That's one of many. Yeah.
Great talking to you. We're with Jason Bromley today from Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind. More from him in a second.
The Tour 2024 returns this June. This is a 4-day running challenge taking in some of the best sites across the region, including Daisy Nook, Hobson Moor and Longondale Valley. Take part in the tour by running 1, 2, 3, or if you're feeling up to it, all 4 events from the 13th to the 16th of June. To book your place in the Tour 2024, visit tamesideradio.com to find out more.
This is 103.6 FM, Tameside Radio. We're talking today to Jason from Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind. Mental Health Awareness Week. It's had quite a bit of publicity this week, hasn't it, over socials?
It has, and it's great to see. It's great that the messaging is getting out there, and most importantly of all, it's great that people recognise it and they recognise the importance of it.
I think one of the great things we've got happening in Tameside is the tour coming up. But that's all about running. You know, not everybody wants to run. I mean, we're going around Daisy Nook, beautiful part of the area. We're going around the Longdondale Trail, around Hyde. It's getting out in the fresh air. But this year, one of the things I want to say is we've got the walking tour as well, which is perfect if you're like me. Don't like running.
It's fantastic. I love the additional element to the tour this year. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It makes it more inclusive.
Yeah.
And also, you've mentioned a few different areas. Shout out to Mottram.
Yes.
Mottram's beautiful. Down that neck of the woods, I used to actually go rock climbing at Hobson Moor Quarry back in the day. It's a beautiful location, whether you want to climb, walk or have a picnic. But yeah, for families to be able to get out, take the prams, take the dogs, whatever they want to do, and get involved with this, it's wonderful.
And like you say, when it comes to things like mental health issues, it's not just the individual, is it? It's always the people around them that can affect as well.
Yeah, big time. I think we notice that more and more these days. And I know I've spoke to you previously, Mark, about the stigma around accessing mental health support. And sometimes it's that people are seeking support and help and advice for themselves, but they're also doing it for other people that they know in their network or a friend or a family member. And social events like this, the tour, it's a perfect opportunity to get a sense of camaraderie, to feel a sense of community and a sense of belonging, all those things that are actually really important to most of us.
It's an achievement as well. You know, if you have never done the tour before, if you've never gone for a long walk, I mean, these walks maybe a couple of miles, for example, which sounds a lot, but if you're with people You can talk to people. You can have a bit of like fun doing it as well.
And again, it's that sense of achievement, like
Yeah.
you say. It's whether it's 2 miles, 10 miles, because everybody's bar is set at a different height. And that's absolutely fine because the sense of achievement doesn't change.
Yeah, yeah.
So for somebody who would find a 2 mile walk challenging, that sense of achievement at the end of it is no different to somebody running the London Marathon.
Yeah.
The sense of achievement is the same.
It's certainly, nice to see these events coming on because, like I say, it's a perfect opportunity for people to go out and about and release the issues people have in their head because it must be so difficult when you're stuck inside all the time.
Yeah, big time. I mean, you're right. Tapping into what you've said previously and what's on everyone's minds a lot of the time as the traditional kind of English conversation, which always comes up inevitably, is the weather.
The weather!
And I had a friend many, many years ago that said, a couple of things he used to say is that there's no such thing, what was it? Skin's waterproof. That was one of the things that a good friend of mine said many years ago. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes people do look out, and rightly so, and think, it looks grey and grim out there. But you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I've been out in all weathers over the years. I've been involved in outdoor pursuits for many years, particularly climbing and mountain biking.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised, it's like even if it is a bit grey, overcast, a bit drizzly, you stick a coat on, you go out for a walk, you're still going to feel the benefits.
It's not a barrier, is it, the weather?
It should
never be a barrier.
It shouldn't be a barrier. And particularly for something like the Tour.
Yeah.
Locations that are lovely to be in.
Yes.
They change with the seasons, and every season, those locations have got something beautiful to offer. So even if the weather's not great, you might go out and you might have a different experience of nature, and it might impact you differently in terms of your well-being and how you feel. And then with the Tour, the fact that you've got other people around you as well, that just makes it even better.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. We want to make the Tour this year more friendly for everybody. It's not just about runners. It's about the whole family. And, if people are struggling, come and join us.
Yeah.
It's a race for some, but not for others. We just get involved with it because we want to do it and, like I say, make a difference to people's lives. So if anyone's thinking, check the website out, which is tamesideradio.com. All the details are on there. We're with Jason Bromley today from Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind. More in a second.
The Tour 2024 returns this June. This is a 4-day running challenge taking in some of the best sites across the region, including Daisy Nook, Hobson Moor and Longondale Valley. Take part in the Tour by running 1, 2, 3, or if you're feeling up to it, all 4 events from the 13th to the 16th of June. To book your place in the Tour 2024, visit tamesideradio.com to find out more.
This is 103.6 FM, Tameside Radio. We're talking today to Jason from Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind. Just finishing off now, Jason, of course, the Mental Health Awareness Week, massive across the whole country. Here in Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind, you obviously work for Mind and play an instrumental part in that, doing some great support in the local area.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I always kind of say this slightly tongue-in-cheek, but every week's Mental Health Awareness Week for us as a mental health charity, to be fair. And I know some people might roll their eyes at that a little bit, but I say it because it's so true. And I kind of want to impart that onto the listeners, is to always be continually learning about yourself and what works for you. Keep developing that toolkit and link in with us because, we've got a bunch of stuff that we're running throughout Mental Health Awareness Week.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we run stuff all year round, week to week. And a lot of it's not what maybe some listeners might think in terms of traditional mental health support. Yeah. Many people think that that's about sitting down and speaking to a counsellor. But a lot of our stuff is what we call low-level social activities. So from things like armchair yoga to bobbing for a brew, arts and crafts, all kinds of different sessions that we've got running out of our Tameside office on Catherine Street. So I always just say to people, connect with us on our socials, check out our website, see what we've got running.
And if it appeals, pop along.
Pop in. And
Absolutely.
even if you don't really do social media massively, we've talked about the pros and cons of social media many times. pop into our office and just have a chat with us.
It was one of the questions I was going to ask you, because when is the right time to reach out? When is the right time to ask for support? Because a lot of people, that's the problem. They don't want to admit, they don't want to ask for support when it comes to mental health.
That's a really good question, Mark, and it's a difficult one to answer.
Absolutely.
I would say that it depends on the individual and what they're feeling at the time. So for some people, they might just recognise that they're quite socially isolated.
Yeah.
And they might just get the early warning signs of feeling lonely, maybe feeling a little bit depressed, but that might last for a couple of days, then it might go away again, and then it might come back again. So I would encourage people, for example, if you are feeling socially isolated, that would be a really good time to reach out and to connect with us and see what's available within your local community. But of course, there are other people who will have other symptoms that are different. So some people might have symptoms around anxiety, and those symptoms are presenting physically as well as mentally. So I would just say the best thing that anybody can do is to not downplay how you're feeling, acknowledge that it's okay to feel that way, and reach out as soon as you feel able to. Because you won't ever regret reaching out and speaking to somebody. Trust me, you will never regret reaching out and speaking to somebody, no matter how far along your journey you are. Yeah. And we really want to encourage people to try and avoid hitting crisis point.
Absolutely.
That's the big thing with mental health.
And you're a friendly bunch there as well.
Yeah, we absolutely are, yes.
If anyone's interested in finding out a little bit more about Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind, what's the details?
You can call us on 0161 330 9223. You can check us out on our socials, Tameside, Oldham and Glossop Mind, or Tog Mind. And you can email us, office@togmind.org.
As always, it's been a pleasure to see you, Jason. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.